What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and today I'm here to talk about not just Absolute Batman, but DC Comics as a whole and its meteoric rise to the top of the charts this past year, how it got there, what the future looks like, and what could potentially throw a wrench in all of this. Don't go anywhere. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it. If you're a fan of comic books, be sure to check the links in the description. There's some fantastic resources to this amazing hobby, including online retailer Big Time Collectibles, JustinComicx cleaning and pressing services. He can also submit to grading companies for you. If you don't have your own account, he's got you covered. And ABX Comics and Games. This is my local comic shop where my pool list is set up, where I get all my books. And if you don't have a shop, or if you don't have a good enough shop, they are the best in the business. They are the community's comic shop, and they can set up a long distance pool list for you so you never miss out on phenomenal books like Absolute Batman Annual 2025, which is sure to be probably the #1 book of the year. This book dropped this just past week, and it has made a huge splash for all kinds of reasons. I've done a whole video on that, and I really recommend checking it out. If you can find a copy, I'm sure it's selling out at many shops. It's definitely going to be what I believe to be the #1 talked about, most influential book of the year. It was absolutely fantastic, but it made me want to stop and take a pause and kind of make a video talking about just how well DC Comics is doing right now and what could potentially ruin this momentum. So I'm a diehard DC fanboy, have been my whole life. I've grown up in this hobby as a second-generation collector, and I've always slanted toward DC. That's nothing new to any of my viewers. This whole channel is primarily focused on DC since its inception, but now more than ever, it's kind of been enjoyable being a huge DC fan because I feel like more and more people are starting to try out the books. Ever since I got on YouTube, most people that are around are Marvel first people. I know that thanks to the huge success of the MCU over the years, a lot of people found their way to comics through that little doorway. And it takes some time to really spread your wings, try other stuff out. But with the huge success and all the public social media and all the stuff talking about this absolute world and it being really a good entry point for new readers, a lot of people are actually checking out DC Comics and finding out that they're really enjoying it. The absolute world being completely fresh start was another great opportunity for people to get in at the ground level. Comics have been going for a long time. It's hard to play catch up on something that's 80 years old. But Absolute was a fresh take on familiar characters in a more dynamic, modernized, and it's just all around it was easily accessible. And more than anything, the quality is there. Like the absolute top-notch quality of this entire imprint has just been unbelievable. But it's not limited just to the Absolute books. Since DC hit this most recent reading initiative called the All-In era, their continuity has been ridiculously tight. We've had small little crossover stories that have elevated the overall universe really well, like the House of Brainiac or the whole World's Finest Justice League crossover. And it's all been building up to this awesome big mega event that just kicked off. And all of this stuff is just really just help them make a good positive name for themselves. They've really struggled for a few years, greatly due to the movies and stuff, really just making people turn their nose up at it. But DC has been absolutely rocking and rolling for a long time now. And I just wanted to pause and take a look at some of this. If you weren't aware, if you didn't know, there's a few websites out there that track the sales data for not just the local comic shops, but for like the bigger stores like Barnes and Noble or Target or wherever might sell collected volumes and stuff. But according to the sales data that is available for the comic books sold by unit, now these are the individual issues, and these are accumulated on a website called ICV2. Now for September, these are the final totals for September. I don't think that the October numbers are up yet, but this is via Comic Hub. This will track the sales done by the point of sales at comic shops and other places that sell individual issues. And it looks like Batman is once again carrying the weight of the entire universe, because you have Batman in the #1 spot with the Deadpool crossover. And then right after that, you have Batman issue #1, where they just gave his ongoing series a whole new #1 issue. The story continues the same. They didn't relaunch, change the continuity or anything like that. Just gave it a fresh paint job. New suit, new creative team came on. And that one's in the #2 slot. #3 slot, Absolute Batman #12. Historically, #1 issues are used over and over again and breaking up the volumes and stuff because #1 sell well. But Absolute Batman #12 is in the #3 slot, right behind 2 issue #1s. Then Batman #2 is right behind it. And then Amazing Spider-Man hits the board at number 5, which is forever and always seems like it's going to be Marvel's top-selling book, whether it's good, bad, or somewhere in the middle. It's always going to chart just from the collectors. Once again, we move to the Absolute Universe for slot number 6, where Absolute Evil, a one-shot introducing us to pretty much the Legion of Doom inside of the Absolute Universe, takes the cake, followed close behind Absolute Superman number 11. And issue 11 is on there. Punisher had a brand new one-shot with the return of Frank Castle, etching in on the number 8 slot, followed closely behind Kelly Thompson's Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 12, who she just won an award for her work on the Absolute title. Followed again by Spider-Man with his Ultimate imprint, issue number 21. That alone is mind-boggling. You have the DC Trinity dominating the charts, Batman with numerous titles, and then, of course, the Spider-Man books on there. That's just kind of mind-blowing how well this is doing later in the issues. Typically, in issue 1, just hypothetically, if it sells 1,000 issues, issue 2 will sell 500 issues. You see a huge drop from issue 1 to 2 because you kind of separate the readers from just the collectors or the speculators, the investors. But to see these later issues still hitting top charts, and now issue number 1 is even back to its 10th print even and still going. It's insane how well this is doing. We've gotten to the point now where they're also doing the collected volumes of these things. And for the collected volumes via the point of sales at comic shops, again, you have Batman Arkham Asylum in the top spot. That's a $10 collected volume, and it is Halloween time, so that makes a little bit of sense. But then Absolute Batman Volume 1 is in the number 2 slot, followed by Batman Court of Owls, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Superman, and again, Spider-Man edges in at number 6, followed again by Batman. Then you get a Wolverine on there, then Batman, then Exquisite Corpse is making our one indie title. So it looks like for the tis the season for Batman, I guess. Again, these are the finished sales numbers for September. But seeing the Absolute on there, seeing all the Batman stuff on there, some of those are really timeless stories from Batman. And it's looking like the Absolute story arcs could potentially be hitting that status early on. And then if you look at the point of sales for the bigger stores like Barnes & Noble and stuff like that, you have Absolute Batman, the hardcover edition, a TMNT book, then Batman Hush, which is one of the most like famous Batman stories of modern time. Then you get the Ultimate Spider-Man at number 5 for this one, followed closely by Absolute Superman, the Arkham Asylum book, another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the hardcover edition, Batman Year One, and Absolute Wonder Woman. So outside of just Spider-Man and in that one case, TMNT, you're seeing nothing from any other publisher on here. They're really legitimately dominating the market, and they've just been slowly moving their way up higher and higher on the sales figures. So much so that even outside of like the comic collecting data, even in the New York Times itself, writer Scott Snyder shared the photo showing where Absolute Batman has made it into the New York Times top 10 seller list for comic books. That's pretty wild. And if you are enjoying the Absolute Batman stuff, if you just came on or just got introduced to it or went just to support the Absolute Batman annual, which I saw a lot of people did, which is fantastic, be sure to check out more of this stuff. Go get those collected volumes and then check out what's happening in the greater DC universe. Because like I said, they've built up this great continuity and they just kicked off the huge mega event called DCKO, written by the same creator that is creating Absolute Batman. If you enjoy Scott Snyder's writing in Absolute Batman, be sure to check this out. It's kind of bringing that same like dynamic, fast-paced, hard-hitting, you don't know what to expect next storytelling to the main universe. And it's not just your average story. He's pitting all the heroes and villains up against each other in an absolute wild cosmic style battle. And not even just that. Some of your other favorite IPs from across different mediums are going to be brought into this story, like Mortal Kombat, The Boys, Annabelle, all kinds of stuff. And there's even more that we're not even sure what's going to be there. Even our absolute characters, Absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, had made their tease appearance with issue 1. So if you like those characters, you're only interested in those, you might want to check out DCKO. They may be playing a huge part of it. Remember, these universes are ultimately connected. The dark side from the main universe is the Absolute world. Now, what could possibly slow down this momentum and ruin this hype? Well, could be a couple of things. You know, the price tag for these books is $5.99 already. And Scott Snyder recently shared a post where he said that the next issue of Absolute Batman, issue 14, which will be our finale to this big Bane story arc that we're all waiting on, this huge battle 1v1 with Batman against Bane after he's already taken his L's, is getting delayed by 1 week. That they attempted to fit the story into the 20-page parameters they normally work in, but it just didn't feel right. And they got permission from DC to use 5 more pages. Now, I read over that and really didn't think much of it. And I actually went out to to my collection. I pulled the last couple of issues of Absolute. I did a page count on them and verified that they are, in fact, only 20 issue stories. Typically, I've been running under the assumption, just because you don't really think twice about it, that books are going to be between 22 to 28 pages. These Absolute books that demand a $1 extra price tag just for the A covers, not even the card stocks, are only 20 pages. While they are hard hitting, while they leave you with all the feels, the emotions, hype for the next one, that's not a lot of content. The price of admission for these books is not cheap. If you have somebody out there who's wanting to get invested in these, that's a huge commitment. And knowing that there's right now 5 ongoing Absolute titles with Martian Manhunter returning in 2 months, making it 6, not counting the specials that they do and the specials they have planned or the event book that these characters will be appearing in, that's a huge commitment. You can have some people come in excited to be a part of this and find out what it really takes to fully invest in it and run them off all the way. And the second thing that can easily do it, delays. Delays can take the piss out of a book faster than anything else, I think. People will just lose interest when they have to already wait a month for that next chapter. That's a huge commitment to begin with. Most people these days don't even want to have to wait a week for the next episode of a television show. They want it now and binge watch it, this and that. So that could throw it off as well. It's good to see that the collected volume sales are really high, because that leaves me thinking that that's like the back end sales. Like it used to be, if a movie didn't do great in the theaters, it'd sell enough Blu-rays and DVDs to make up for it. That's kind of your collected volumes. If it's not doing the great in the floppies, if the hardbacks and the soft covers are doing gangbusters, they'll keep that going as well. That all comes together. But I think the last thing that could potentially ruin all of this is if Scott Snyder leaves this title. This entire universe is kind of his brainchild, and this Absolute Batman is definitely carrying all of it. It's good seeing the rest of the titles up there, but it's the Batman that's being talked about the most. While people are buying Superman, they're buying Wonder Woman. You're not even seeing Flash tracking on the sales. You're seeing Wonder Woman toward the bottom of those top 10 charts. And granted, you don't have to be in the top 10 to be a successful book at all. If Scott Snyder leaves this, where does it go from here? Is there really somebody else that can carry the torch and the importance and the bombastic nature of this in the way that he does with his unique creativity? I don't know. Ultimately, we will find out. He won't be here forever, and we'll see where it goes. And I'm leaning toward the idea, just like with all things in comic books, this too shall pass one day. I hope it's around for a long time. I hope it's around for a long time because it's delivering hard-hitting quality stories and art like it's been doing so far. And I'm loving seeing it bring in more and more people to DC Comics and ultimately to comic hobby as a whole. It's helping the shops out. It's helping the industry out. And the fandom growing is always a fantastic thing. So I hope you go pick up the Absolute Batman Annual. It was phenomenal. I hope it leads you into picking up more titles. Go pick up DCKO and come back here every Sunday night for the live stream where we're talking about and reviewing these new books every week. I appreciate you watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, as always, we are Legion.